This is episode 12 of the Bleacher Nation Bears Podcast. Thanks to our sponsoring partner, Obvious Shirts. Obvious Shirts, words on shirts. If you're looking for a great holiday gift for someone or even yourself, our friends at Obvious Shirts have you covered. You can get yours at obviousshirts.com, or you can go in person at the corner of Clark and Grace in Wrigleyville. Go support our friends at Obvious Shirts because they support us. Thanks again to our sponsors at Obvious Shirts. Tell them the BN Bears Podcast sent you, and happy holidays. All right, so week 14 is in the books, and the Chicago Bears have suffered another heart-wrenching loss against the Green Bay Packers. I am here with Patrick Flowers and Matt Rooney to discuss what happened in that game, as well as take a look ahead at what is coming on the horizon with the Cleveland Browns coming to town. Gentlemen, tough loss. Matt, I know you were there. What was it like? What was the vibe? Like, how did you feel throughout that game?
First off, it was cool. Lambeau's a cool place. It's a great place to go watch a football game. I know there are rivals. I know we hate the Packers, all that. I do hate the Green Bay Packers. Lambeau's cool. It's a good place to watch a game. Watching Bears Packers is a very unique, cool thing to do there too. So couldn't recommend doing that more. I don't know. Today, I think is a good day for the mentality I've been carrying all year, where I'm not really getting too high or getting too low. Like, Patrick's got a smirk on his face, but like, I'm 110% serious. Like, in the moment when Caleb Williams threw the interception, obviously heart sank into my stomach, sat in the chair for 10 seconds, and then we all got up and said, all right, let's get out of here. Like, by the time I got back to our Airbnb, which was just a couple block walk away from Lambeau, I still felt pretty good about where the Bears are. Like, they spotted the Packers at the first half. They just kind of didn't show up for the first half, did in the second, and had the ball on whatever it was, with a chance to win. Should they have ran the ball on 4th and 1, taken a timeout right after picking it up and, taking a couple shots to the end zone then? Yeah, probably. But I don't know. That was a different way to lose to the Green Bay Packers than what we've seen. It wasn't like smoke and mirrors trying to keep up with them. And, last year Jordan Love gets hurt, so Malik Willis comes in, we steal one there. Like, it wasn't smoke and mirrors to compete with Green Bay. It was, we were on the same playing field as them. We spotted them a half, and we're right there. We're right there. And it's still a year earlier than I thought it was going to be. So, like, and the NFL, you never promise next year, and windows can close just like that. But, like, I left that game feeling really, really good about where the Bears are for the next however many years Ben Johnson is the head coach.
I'm with you, man. Yeah. I felt similarly after being at the 2018 Bears-Packers game at Lambeau. That was the Khalil Mack debut game. Aaron Rodgers is drugged up. He said it himself that they shot him up with a bunch of stuff to get him back from the injury at halftime. And I remember sitting probably in a similar situation to you, thinking, okay, this team is good. They're not bad. They should be competitive. They're not. They're on the same playing field as the Packers, and I think that's an important takeaway from this game. That, like, the Bears are for real, and this was just a real reminder that on any given Sunday, any team can lose or beat another. Patrick, what did you think in the wake of that loss? I know that game was a roller coaster.
Honestly, I think Matt said it pretty well. When he threw the interception, I wasn't mad. I didn't jump up and yell. I just Erica was sitting next to me. She did. And I was just like, it's not.
It wasn't. It wasn't like,
obviously,
but it wasn't like I want to throw my remote through the TV. It was like,
right.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Sorry. I have to edit that out. It was just like, it was like, we had that one. It wasn't like that was our only shot. That was our only, right, crowning thing we had. Like, it wasn't our only chance to do anything this year. It's like, all right, well, we get them in 2 weeks. We get them at our place. We're going to be the desperate team then.
That's exactly it. I feel way more confident after that game than I did before that game that we are actually on the same playing field as them and that we can win in 2 weeks at Soldier Field. I honestly believe that if the second half Bears show up at kickoff, it's going to be a Bears win. Like,
Had the first half Bears played the second half too, and they ended up losing 20. I think I was saying
we would have been having a different conversation.
I was talking to my buddies we were sitting with, and I was like, oh, like at halftime, I was like, yeah, this feels like 28-10 Packers, like where it's just not really even close. Maybe there's a drive in the second half where we're within 10, but this feels like they're just going to kind of keep us at more than an arm's length all game. And it was the exact opposite from that. So like if that was the case, they lost 28-10, weren't competitive, I'd be singing a whole different tune right now, and I'd be a little bit worried about where they're going and all. But like, I'm not. It's really hard. I would have loved to beat the Packers in Lambeau Field. That would have been awesome. But my takeaway from that is they had another chance to win late. They're not going to win late every single time they're trying to come back, and that's just the law of averages. For the first time I can remember in a long time, Caleb Williams made a bad throw in a spot where granted, on that drive, he made a bunch of throws to even get them there. The one to Duvernay was great. One to Luther Bird, and the touchdown pass to Levin was a nice, like, he did all the things he needed to do, and then he underthrew a ball when he probably shouldn't have. So it happens. Yeah. He's not going to be perfect. The Bears aren't perfect. They're also, I still think there's a talent gap there too. Like I think the biggest on-field, like, difference between those two teams yesterday was the Packers were able to get pressure on Caleb Williams in the pocket and make him kind of move around and kind of get creative with his throws. Jordan Love, for the most part, just kind of sat there. He didn't really have to worry about much. It was hard to tell who was flashing from the stadium because you're not really seeing it on TV. We were in a corner angle too, so you're not really seeing who's getting that great of a push. It didn't really feel like anybody on the defensive line really stood out. I know Sweat made a couple nice plays here and there, but like, he's, again, not an elite pass rusher. He's just a good defensive end, like, kind of. So I don't know. That to me is the biggest need glaring from that is the Bears pass rush is problem 1A and 1B to figure out, because I think they kind of still have something in Ozzie Trapillo as a starting tackle. He wasn't great, but I'm still confident with him there next year, unless someone elite falls into their lap. But like, that's edge rushing, pass rushing has to be fixed.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway. And part of my notes, I have a nice long note sheet that I make after games. And one of my top notes was the Bears need help at defensive line. And it's not just defensive end. I didn't love how Javon Dexter Sr. played. I haven't loved how he's played all year. This was a big year for him, and he has not taken the step that he has needed. So interior defensive line, defensive end help would be nice. You're going to have to just throw bodies, because you need to get Jordan Love off his spots, because he'll pick you apart all day, and you can't really blitz him because he does make really quick decisions. I think the other thing that kind of stood out to me in terms of talent gap was secondary speed. The Bears do not have a ton of burners in the secondary, and it cost them in trying to cover Christian Watson. It cost them trying to cover Bo Melton, who was a freaking cornerback all camp. That was frustrating. I think a quicker safety gets that ball that Jaquan Brisker, is arm's length away.
It was just that close.
They really missed Kyler Gordon yesterday, and that really stinks that he got an injury.
He hurt his groin in warmups. Is that what happened? Like,
it was reported, yes.
It was honestly too cold to even take my phone out and check Twitter, because the gloves, they say they have the iPhone scrolling capability, but kind of not really.
That's
and
always
it was freezing, so I wasn't really, like, you can kind of use it like if I needed to make an emergency phone call, I can, but that's about it. Other than that, like, it was too cold to really bring it out. But yeah, it's like Kyler Gordon just hurt a groin in warmups. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yep.
That's fun. That's a lot.
Kyler Gordon is a tough year for that kid. I mean, it's the third time now this year that he's been injured.
And seriously,
bad luck, or just like, is this a conversation where it's like, dude, go put him on the IR, send him home, tell him come back in better shape next year? Like,
that's a really good question, because he signed the contract extension this offseason, and when they signed it, one, I liked it. And two, I thought it was a sign that they were confident in his health going forward. I kind of book him for a couple missed games every year, just because it's kind of how his body type is. But this is going to be pretty much a lost season in terms of games played for Kyler Gordon. And he's such an impactful player that you need a worthwhile backup. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is great and in that role and how he is used in versatile ways, but he can't be used in versatile ways if Kyler Gordon isn't available. So that's another area where And they're going to need to find a different type of cornerback. And I know Deshaun Wright missed some snaps. He got freaking super kicked on a play down the stretch there. Shawn Michaels sweet chin music from some Packers player on a dive. Crazy things happen. I think, and I've said this before in things that I've written. I look at the need for cornerback depth the way that I look at the need for pitching depth in baseball. If you think you have enough cornerback depth, you don't have enough cornerback depth. So I'd like to see that situation kind of fixed in the offseason. Got to get more speed. Those Packers, they've got some fast receivers. And
guys, yeah. I mean, Jaden Reed too.
Yeah, they got some ballers.
His concussion helmet still stands out as much in person as it does on TV. By the way,
you can see that. Oh my god! I know.
Oh yeah, it's Romeo Doubs, not Jaden.
Romeo Doubs.
You're right.
Good for him. Not knocking it.
No. It's just I have no problem with it. Just for whatever reason, the yellow Packers one just pops more than any other in football. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But they need to get faster. They need to have depth in the secondary. That was challenged. It's been challenged all year, and quite honestly, I feel like they've passed the test for the most part. I'm not sure Deshaun Wright is going to be back next year because he might actually be playing himself into a contract somewhere. Who knows? But these are problems that we all expected to have. We went into this year not believing this was a complete and filled out roster. We went believing it was a young, fun roster who might be able to do some things. And unfortunately, the holes that we all kind of knew were there got challenged very early. And they're being exposed a little bit now because even those holes are now being are now getting injured at times. We're having to dig deeper to find replacements. And like you said, Lou, especially in the secondary, you can never have too much depth because honestly, if you think you have too much depth, those guys can also contribute on special teams too, which as we saw with kickoffs and stuff, Bears aren't very good covering kickoffs too. So right behind edge rushing, pass rushing, whatever you want to call it in the offseason, more secondary depth because you got to figure out. You can't come back next year banking on Kyler Gordon playing 14 games. I love Kyler Gordon. The defense is different when he's there, but you just can't. It's a bonus if you can't. You have to find a solution to that for the 5, 6, whatever games a year it might be that he misses.
Yeah, for sure. But to invest the money that you've invested in Gordon and then also have to invest money in somebody to basically be the fail-safe for him for 20, 30, 40% of the schedule just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What looked like a really good contract at the time, not so much if he's not going to be available, 30% of the season, 40% of the season, and you essentially have to platoon somebody there with him and pay them, well as in addition to his contract. Mm-hmm. You only got there's only so much money to go around. You can't be double dipping, at a premium position like that.
Yeah, that's the thing that Ryan Pace used to do. He used to double dip on guys, and it was a waste of money. It was a waste of picks. It would be nice to see if the Bears can find a filler for Kyler Gordon, maybe a Kyler Gordon replacement down the line via the draft. Mm-hmm. But that's a conversation for much later in the offseason. But I'm glad that we're talking about it now because I was kind of afraid that I was going to be the only one who's just man, the speed that the Packers have compared to
it was so noticeable.
It was so noticeable. Wait, so it wasn't just me. Woo.
No, yeah. So you said CJ Gardner-Johnson's a pretty good filler for Kyler Gordon, but then when he's doing that role, he can't really do what he does best, is just kind of be everywhere. He's also not as fast as Kyler in that role. But I don't want to sound the panic alarm too early on Kyler Gordon. This is his fourth NFL season. He's played 14, 13, and 15 games. It's not like he's been a guy who's only played half years for his entire career. So
no, for sure.
This year
is why it's more. Yeah. Is why it sticks out to me more.
I wasn't saying go sign a high-end free agent to platoon with Kyler Gordon. I was more talking about the route of what Lou was saying, late draft pick of a guy you like, or that's an area you want to address in the draft, or maybe a wave 3 or wave 2 of free agency where maybe someone makes it through, maybe somebody gets cut similar to CJ Gardner-Johnson, something like that. I'm not suggesting go on day one and make one of your splashy signings be a 4-year, $40 million Kyler Gordon platoon. But no, this could also the first injury was weird. The second one, who knows? Maybe they did rush him back because it's a playoff race. They wanted to get him back, and maybe it was just too early. And that's the risk you run when you somewhat rush somebody back. I'm not blaming the Bears for doing that. We all wanted to see him back on the field. They did too. I'm sure he wanted to get back out there. They rolled the dice that he'd be ready to play. And you know what? With Jalen Johnson, it's looking good right now. He's back. He's playing. He looks good. Kyler Gordon might have come up snake eyes. So who knows?
Yeah, look, and that's the other thing. Like, these guys want to play, especially now that the Bears are in the playoff race. In another year, in a year like last year, there's no reason.
He didn't come back. He's shut down for the year of his last year. 100%.
And we saw with Jaquan Brisker. It was just like, yeah, we're not bringing him back. This is a lost year. Now, with that being said, I do like that we're all clear-headed on team needs, defense, secondary, and in the middle. It was also nice to see TJ Edwards back in the lineup. This was his first game back after missing some time with the hamstring and the hand injury. He was PFF's second or highest graded player, tied with Grady Jarrett, the defensive tackle.
Grady Jarrett popped the last 3 weeks.
We're starting.
It's not doing much of anything.
Maybe that was somewhat of a case. Well, I know he started the year banged up a little bit too. Yeah. Maybe he's just kind of getting healthier, and also like he's a veteran who knows kind of that he has to
turn it on.
Kind of has to save his pitches for later. Yeah. He's got to take a little while to rev it up and then turn it on. But he's pop. TJ Edwards was another player in person. You could tell was popping. The defense does look a whole lot different with him in there. And then, I know he's not covering people, at least receivers, all that often. But when you get Tremaine Edmonds back there, the team speed on defense does increase quite a bit because no one in the NFL goes sideline to sideline quite like Tremaine Edmonds. So that's at least somebody who hopefully in 2 more weeks, I think, when he come off the IR, is ready to come back and can give us some help there.
It's kind of wild to think about how close this game was, considering the Bears' injuries with key players and key positions. This is a Bears team that the arrow is pointing up. I think if this kind of game happens with an older team that has a lot of veterans on their last legs, I'd be a little more worried. But I'm more encouraged than anything because of the situation that the Bears were in. And frankly, I'm encouraged because of their quarterback and how he played in the second half. Patrick had a really good tweet yesterday, and you should follow Patrick on Twitter at Patrick K. Flowers. He had a good tweet yesterday in the second half that kind of highlighted Caleb's second half kind of emergence and how he was playing in the pocket. Patrick, what did you see from Caleb yesterday? Because I know it was a mixed bag, but I think there was some more good than bad.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously the interception is going to stick out. But he played really, really well in the second half. First half, I don't think he played is terrible either. He just had no time whatsoever. Hats off to Jeff Hafley. The game plan in the first half to disrupt the Bears' offensive line and take away pretty much everything from them was phenomenal. It was exactly what it needed to be. The Bears could do nothing at all. Green Bay ended up with 16 pressures on Caleb Williams throughout the game. 16 pressures. And
if someone wants to go hire Jeff Hafley to be a head coach, that'd be great.
Oh, 100%.
He'd be a great head coach. Maybe somebody out in the AFC wants him.
I'm actually right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm just actually campaigning for Jeff Hafley to get a head coaching job so he could leave.
I'm gonna write a post at some point and start that campaign.
Yes, but it was so good. So just it's like hats off to him. What are you going to do about it? But in the second half, when Ben Johnson made some adjustments, that's another thing I love. It always seems that Ben Johnson has an answer. This guy don't run out of answers when you need him. So and that's all. That's fantastic. Williams 6 of 14 for 32 yards in the first half, 13 of 21 for 154 and 2 touchdowns in the second half. And to have 16 pressures and only be sacked one time when you got Micah Parsons lining up over there. And the one sack was he just ran into it. Like he was avoiding Micah Parsons, just kind of ran into a free runner. There was nothing you could do about it. So he played well. He played well overall. 61.5% of his dropbacks was play action yesterday too. That was a career high. So tons of play action, following into Ben Johnson figuring out some adjustments in the second half to try to slow down the Packers pass rush a little bit because they took the quick game away in the first half. With the quick game worked for them last year. So, obviously that was on the tape and they knew that the Bears would try to do that. They took it away right away, had to go back to the drawing board. It became play action. They ran it a ton and he was pretty successful. What else can you ask for?
It asked for DJ Moore to get it together.
I hate DJ Moore's body language.
Glad somebody brought it up.
I cannot stand his body language. And listen, I understand that You're frustrated that you lost a tight game in the fashion that they did. But, dude, you're on national television. You're in the Fox Game of the Week window. You've got the A broadcast team. It's a rivalry game. Everybody's watching. Stop pouting like a baby all over the place. Like, it's just such a bad look. And then people just unnecessarily read way too far into it. Like, he's just mad. But, like, it's always so dramatic with him.
Yeah, and
I'm mad. I just don't. I just like grow up a little bit. Stop pouting. You're a professional.
I understand he gets angry, all that stuff. But like yesterday was a day for him to be the star of that offense. Rome Odunze was out. It was kind of his turn to. All right, Rome's gone. Like, this is my time to actually go out and be number one, be the target, be Caleb's go-to guy. And Caleb's go-to guy yesterday was Luther Burden.
70.6% snap rate yesterday. Year high.
I don't think that says anything about like Caleb and Rome don't like each other. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. What I'm saying is you can clearly tell who Caleb has chemistry and who is. Chemistry is something you build up with over time. If you work hard enough at it, you're going to develop it. And those two haven't developed it in 2 years. This is almost 2 full seasons together now. They haven't developed. Caleb's developed it with Rome Odunze. He's developed it with Luther Burden. He's developed it with Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland. Like, there are guys that have Colston Loveland at the beginning of the season, after 3 games, everybody wanted to say he was a bust and he's not a bad pick. It's like, no, just building time, building trust, learning each other, learning how to play with the quarterback. Now he's arguably his favorite receiver, favorite player to throw to outside of Rome Odunze. Like, it's a two-way street, and DJ Moore, again, I'm not at practice. We don't see what their locker room interactions are like. We don't see them in the film room. This is not me trying to say that DJ Moore doesn't work hard. But all I'm saying is clearly there's some sort of misconnect there with Caleb Williams because other people seem to be passing him on that chemistry pecking order.
Yeah. No, you're
Yesterday was his chance to be the number one wide receiver. And it just felt like every time Caleb was looking for somebody, it was Luther Burden, not DJ Moore.
And the thing is but that's the thing. Nobody views DJ Moore as the number one receiver here anymore. Nobody, not inside. I mean, Tom Brady said yesterday, the Bears wide receiver one is Rome Odunze is out today. Mm-hmm. Nobody views DJ Moore as a number one wide receiver on this team anymore. And it's because of the last 2 years and his inability to develop chemistry with his quarterback. Again, those dudes might be good friends. Like we're not trying to insinuate that between those guys.
We've talked about it before. This isn't like shots at him, like as a person or like a player. It's just trying to notice what we're seeing. And there's clearly some sort of disconnect.
Yeah. 100%. Also his body language is terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. It does. It just makes it worse. Like it magnifies.
It's so similar to Jay. Like when Cutler was here. Like Cutler's body language wasn't good. I don't think any of us. I personally didn't. I think most Bears fans didn't actually think Jay Cutler was pouting and mad to be there or whatever. It's just that when he sat on the bench, he just kind of sat there and looked like this. He wasn't a rah guy. This is what he did. And even though it probably didn't mean anything, people start talking, people start looking deeper into that than they have to, and they try to come up with reasons to not like it. So it's just something you got to work on, and not just everybody in the NFL who has those moments like that. It's people are going to scrutinize them. They're going to over scrutinize them. They're going to look too far into them and try to find things that maybe aren't even there. And even though they're not there, when enough people start talking about them, they kind of become lingering stories.
Yep,
for sure. I love that you guys beat me to the punch with the Colston Loveland and Luther Burden talk. Luther was their best receiver yesterday. Colston was the guy that they trusted. I'm really liking the pass catchers from this class that the Bears have brought in because, 1, they're young and they're developing. 2, they've already established themselves as playmakers. I loved watching Luther Burden deliver stiff arms. That guy runs like his hair is on fire, and I love it. It's aesthetically pleasing. Same thing with Common Guy in a different way. I really like what the Bears did on the offensive side of the ball in this draft, and they showed up in a Bears-Packers game and in big moments. And I think that should be one of the big takeaways that we get from this one. And I hope that others will catch on. I've got some good news, got some bad news on the Bears playoff odds. Patrick, you have a thought? Go ahead.
Oh, before we get on to the playoff odds, I just wanted to give credit to Ben Johnson. That Colston Loveland touchdown, the wide receiver 1 on that play was Theo Benedict. And if he didn't get, and Ben Johnson confirmed that, if he didn't get blocked, he got blown. He got cut blocked trying to get out on the route. So, and good kudos to Caleb for seeing, oh boy, that's not going to be there, and quickly getting to the opposite side and finding Loveland. But just continued creativity. Like as soon as they announced that 79 was checking in as eligible, I was like, here we go.
I was honestly at that point, I was like, oh no, like what's going to happen? I had so many flashbacks of, Matt Nagy doing the weird, lame, like plays along the goal line that would blow up in their face. Like, oh no, please don't get cute. Please don't get too cute.
No. I was on the other end. As soon as I heard 79, I'm like, oh, this is going to Benedict. And
I got to start trusting Ben Johnson in this situation. I've just been hurt so many times by these things.
Let's trust Ben. Also, I thought about it on Friday when I did the post after Rome was ruled out. I'm like, okay, who are their options? And I wrote that if I could bet on a Bears lineman scoring a touchdown or catching a touchdown, I would do it in a heartbeat. And as soon as I'm like, oh my God, he's going to do it. And he was going to do it. And that's why Ben was really mad on the sidelines. I don't know if you saw that at the game, but they showed it on the broadcast. Ben was lighting up an official for missing a very clear cut block penalty. I'm glad Caleb got the touchdown. Bears got the touchdown. Colson got the touchdown. That's a really good read by Caleb. But yeah, refs missed the call. Refs missed the call against the Packers. Who saw that coming?
One thing too, last thing before we get to playoff odds, we've talked about Rome. We didn't talk much about Rome not playing until the end there. I do wonder how much the early game struggles. You can't blame one player being out for all of that, but I feel like so many times in those first 12, first 15, whatever it is, a lot of those are Caleb to Rome for easy pitch and catches. Yeah. I feel like that's his go. That's Caleb's go-to guy early. It still is sometimes late, but they start to spread the ball out. I feel like getting him into a rhythm this year has often coincided with Rome Odunze having 2 catches on the first drive, 3 catches on the first drive, 4 catches in the first 2. So something that it's not an excuse for anything. Like if he's out, it's got to be next man up. You got to figure out ways, but I wonder how much that went into chemistry not really being quite there early, looking a little bit rattled, pass rush, safety blanket not being there, all those things. So that's it. We can talk playoff odds.
No, I like that. That's a good place to and then I think we'll have some more discussions about Rome and his health as the week goes on. Playoff odds. So it's a good news, bad news situation. The bad news is that the Bears playoff odds took a real hit yesterday, losing, and we saw the Rams win. We saw obviously the Packers win. Seahawks won. The Bears went from being the first seed in the NFC playoffs to the 7th seed. That's how good the NFC is. It's pretty loaded. So here's the good news. The good news is that the Bears have a 70% chance of making the playoffs according to the Athletics Playoff Simulator. It's a bummer to see them go from controlling their own destiny to now turning their attention to becoming obsessively scoreboard watching down the stretch. We felt pretty confident that this team is a playoff-worthy team. Do we still feel that way? Do we still think that this team is playoff-bound, or we have any second thoughts?
I feel more so today than I did yesterday before kickoff, or all last week leading up to it. I think for sure this is going to be a playoff team. 2-2 down the stretch to win 11 games. If you don't get in, win 11, well, there's not a whole lot you could do about that other than tip your cap and say, it was a good season regardless. Cleveland is a very winnable game, and then you got to find one win in your other 3 games against the Packers at home, the 49ers, and the Lions in the Ben Johnson revenge game. It's hard to believe that they're not going to find that one win somewhere in those 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find a way to go 2-2, and like you said, if you go 11-6 and miss the playoffs, is that an absolute bummer? Yes, sure. That would be an absolute bummer. But also, if you go 11-6 and you win 11 football games in a season, and somehow that's not good enough to win the playoffs, it's with this team and this roster, all the things we thought going into year one had to go perfectly right for them to even be, 9-8 and a fringe 500 team, for them to be at the end of the year at 11-6. It's technically, I guess you'd call it a failure because you didn't make the playoffs, but at the same time, it's really hard to call that a bad season. So I want to see them make the playoffs. I want to see them go 2-2, but if they go 11-6 and miss it, I'm going to be really bummed, but it's not going to be it's not going to be an angry bum. It's going to be like, man, that really stinks because they did about all they could do.
Yeah, it'll still probably be an angry one because I'm
I say that now. Then we'll
Notre Dame not making the college football playoff.
We're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not talking about that.
That's a different podcast.
I've been very mad all weekend, as you've seen on Twitter. No, I do believe. I think I was actually kind of surprised that 70 was the lowest that it dropped, because I mean we had been struggling to get up above the 70% range in the playoff simulators, whether it be at the Athletic or NFL.com. NFL.com's always been a little bit more favorable of their odds this year, but for sure 2-2 easy. But I feel more confident now that they're going to be able to play football, good football in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, that felt like a playoff game yesterday.
It's 2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks in a row on the road against two of the big, maybe the two big boys. Now the Rams, I guess, too, but like two of the three big boys in the conference. And the Bears went 1-1, and we're a play away, 2 plays away from going 2-0. So
yeah,
they're right there. They're right there. They can't now let this roll over. They can't come out with a hangover against Cleveland. They also can't use this game. They can't have a look ahead to Green Bay coming in next, 2 weeks from now as well. They got to take care of business against Cleveland, and then they got to take care of business at home against Green Bay, like Green Bay did yesterday.
Yeah, that kind of takes us to our next little segment here. A look ahead to the Cleveland Browns week. One of the things that I thought about immediately after that game was that, man, you can't let this Packers loss linger. You can't let the Packers beat you twice. And what I mean by that is you can't let that tough loss impact your practice, impact your routine, impact your play next week. You can't go in overlooking the Browns, because the Browns are going to see the Bears as a measuring stick game. Shedeur Sanders just got named the starting quarterback for the rest of the season for Cleveland. He's going to want to use this as a stepping stone. Myles Garrett is still in search of the NFL sacks record. And that guy is a load to handle. This is going to be a big game for the Bears, and this is going to be a big game for Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's done a tremendous job coaching the Bears and putting this team in positions to win and getting their mind right. And one of the biggest examples of that was how they bounced back after the Week 2 loss against the Lions. It's going to be different. It's a different type of loss this week, but Ben Johnson needs to bring his A game. I trust that he can, but I just want to say that out loud. I want to acknowledge this is a big week. This is a big test for Ben Johnson. Does anyone have any ideas on how to stop Myles Garrett other than not allowing him in Soldier Field?
Honestly, I don't think you stop Myles Garrett. I just think you pray that Caleb Williams gets away from him enough times to survive.
Yeah.
Which he's pretty good at. So,
double teams, triple
Michael Parsons
teams,
got no sacks on Caleb Williams.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good pull.
Just do everything you can to give whoever's on him help, extra attention, roll away from him, all that, get the ball out fast, all the cliches. That's kind of what you have to do. But I think you were spot on with what you said about the Lions game too. The first Lions game, it's for a different reason, but the Bears now need to respond this week. They can't let one loss linger and turn it into two. And similar to that week, I know the Bears played the Cowboys, but their biggest opponent in practice and in the game that week was themselves. They had to stop beating themselves. They had to get out of their own head and just play football to the best of their abilities. They have to do that again this week. They have to focus on what they do best, because I think they control the outcome of this game. If they play how they can, I think they'll beat the Cleveland Browns. They have to lock in. They have to focus. They have to move on and figure out how to be the best version of themselves next week. I think we see Caleb Williams do it all the time. He had a terrible first half, bounces back with a great second half. He throws an interception in the Eagles game. He comes back and throws a touchdown the next drive. That's just kind of has to be the mentality. You're on to the next one. We're on to Cleveland. We're on to Cincinnati. To quote Bill Belichick, but we're on to Cleveland. Next game.
Next. Yep. The Titans the Browns just lost to the Titans. Myles Garrett is scary, but there's nothing else about this team that scares me on paper. Totally valid. All of the Ben Johnson needed to bring his A game. So there's, we can't look past them to the Packers from their standpoint on the field. But as far as we're concerned, just looking at this matchup on paper, the Browns suck and should Shedeur Sanders, he's going to make mistakes. The Bears secondary is the best team to take advantage of that.
They stink. The Bears just can't beat themselves because, I mean, this team beat the Packers in week whatever it was because the Packers kind of beat them. It's because the Packers beat themselves a little bit. Their offense didn't play well. Cleveland plays good defense. We know they're going to play good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Can't give the offense life, can't give them hope, can't just give them the ball. We can't give them free points. And if they don't do that, I think the Bears will be just fine.
Matt, you mentioned the Cowboys, and I wanted 2 seconds to say I hope that Jerry Jones steps on Legos every time he wakes up in the morning for giving the Packers Micah Parsons on a silver platter. And I hope Matt Eberflus steps on Legos every morning for that awful and atrocious game plan against the Lions. The one time we need Matt Eberflus's defense to win. He gags and it's awful. And no wonder the Cowboys' scoring offense is so good because you have to score on every freaking possession because Matt Eberflus's defense is not going to get you a stop. I'm so glad he's gone. But you did us no favor, so screw you, Flus. Go step on some Legos.
Every time it's with the Browns, like I have this flashback to Darnell Mooney sitting in the end zone after dropping the Hail Mary and that lost to the Browns a couple years ago.
Let's not talk about it. Good vibes. Good vibes.
I need to get that picture out of my head this weekend.
Good vibes only. 27-10 Bears. Just manifest it.
Let's manifest something good. Matt has
27-10 Bears.
27-10. I am going to manifest Caleb Williams 3 total touchdowns, 0 turnovers, 0 sacks.
There we go.
Yeah, I've got Caleb for 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, 0 sacks. We are manifesting greatness. Patrick, what you got?
I'll take it. I love your scenarios. The Bears win this by 2 touchdowns or more.
Great.
It's not going to be a close
manifest. Game. We're manifesting.
It's 17 points. It's not going to be close. It's going to be a perfect get right game before the Packers game next week.
I trust Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I did.
I trust Ben Johnson. That's
really all this comes down to.
At every turn this week, and I think that's why I've been so calm after a lot of these weird, like bad situations, tough losses. Like I trust the guy who's steering the ship right now.
100%. I had a kid. One of my players texted me yesterday after the game. He's a Bears fan too. He's like, oh my God, Ben, like what's with the play? You know, he's questioning the play call in the last one, and I was like, he's not going to make a mistake twice. Like I'm not worried about it. He's just so good. Like other coaches in the past, I have 0 confidence in that they'd be able to fix, right their wrongs quickly and be ready for next week. Ben will figure it out.
I'd love to see them just figure out a way to, run power and run right behind, have Joe Thuney pull up a hole and run right behind him and Darnell Wright and pick up 6 feet or 6, whatever, half a yard. But they didn't. And he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. He's also the only reason they were in the game. So
no doubt about it.
I trust him.
We feel good about Ben Johnson and the Bears coming up in week 15. And on that note, we'll close out the pod. Look, things that I've got on my radar include some surprises among the top graded players, some more updated playoff odds after Monday Night Football, and we're going to do a little bit of peeking ahead at the offseason. Patrick had some really good stuff on draft prospects and mock drafts, and Matt had a good mock draft. This is the time of year where we're learning about prospects, and I'm looking forward to kind of dabbling that a little more, not too much because there's still important stuff to happen at Bleacher Nation Bears. Visit us at Bleacher Nation Bears on Twitter, BN_Bears, on Facebook /Bleacher Nation Bears, on Blue Sky at BN-Bears. And please check out our friends who are covering the Bulls and Blackhawks and Cubs. It's winter meetings time. There's a lot happening at BN, and we appreciate your support if you're reading and subscribing to the podcast and interacting with us. So on that note, I am Luis Medina with Matt Rooney and Patrick Flowers. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.